Hey everybody, this is InsanityPinball, and I figured I'd do something a little bit different today. Since I've been streaming a lot of games, I get a lot of questions on, what the streaming rig looks like, what software I use, all those types of things, because people are pretty happy with the way that the streams turn out. So I figured today that maybe we would just walk through the hardware aspects of things, and if there's enough interest in this, then I can go to tie that up to how it connects with the computer and the software customizations I've made, all those things. So without further ado, I am just gonna make this quick and easy. We're gonna go through everything on the rig. I'm gonna have everything in the comments of all the parts that I used. And this is for a rather budget streaming rig. I'd say, rather budget. It's not like using a whole bunch of high-end cameras, but I feel like it was a good compromise for great video quality at a pretty economical price. So, like I said, without further ado, we will switch over to... Okay, so we're back, and now we are looking at the streaming rig that we've been using to stream Harry Potter. And I will just start with the actual rig itself and then everything that's on it. So what you're seeing in front of us here is, you can see it's all on wheels with locking casters, and it's basically extruded aluminum from, I think it's aluminum, maybe it's steel, I don't know what it is. It's extruded something. And I've ordered all this stuff from TNutz. I mean, I think there's another place that's more expensive, but TNutz did a really good job. And you can see the individual pieces and how they connect with these little connectors that just kind of screw in. So it's very modular. This can be broken down and taken with me to a location if I wanted to, because no piece is bigger than like 2 feet. You can see then it comes around and it's pretty much a mirror of the same stuff on this side, all the way down to the bottom. So that whole framing structure, I think that alone was roughly $300. So you're looking at like $300 for the rig itself, on wheels, movable, able to be disassembled into rather small parts of 2 feet or less. So a lot of flexibility there. And it can be adjusted in width up there at the top. You can see there's a little bit of extra room on both sides. So I want to make it a little wider for a wide body. I would just come up here and adjust the little connectors that are in there that are kind of hard to see because they're black, but you can see that one probably a little bit better. You just loosen that. You can slide these vertical rails out to the left or the right. You can see it was probably once attached right there because it kind of scuffed the powder coat, but I can adjust it wider or thinner. So the main things to look at here is on wheels. It has a deep enough frame where I can roll it around and lock it in. And if we go up the side, I have a power strip kind of just attached, zip tied to the side of it. So that's where I'm drawing a lot of my power for the devices. Right above it, a USB hub, which pretty much everything goes into except for the direct screen capture. I bring that in on a separate USB bus into my computer just to have better bandwidth. But most everything will go into that USB hub. You can also see that this thing right here is the capture card for the main camcorder, which is getting the Playfield, which is all the way up there. But that is the little capture card that's handling taking the HDMI output from that camcorder and turning it into USB so it can be my Playfield cam. If you go up from there, I have an iPhone attached there. I only use that for like DMD type pinball machines, one where I'm not interested in doing the direct video capture. So I can actually adjust that to read the scoreboard and present that as the score. Very rarely used. If we move up from there, lighting is very important in a rig. So you can see over here, I have a big panel which provides lighting to the back half of the Playfield. And if we zoom out here and come over to this side, we have a much smaller one over here that provides lighting to the front, which I feel like the front needs a lot less lighting than the back typically. This seems to work out pretty well. And if we go up, we have a player microphone hanging off the front, which ends up being, just several inches from my face so that it picks up sound really well from there. And if you go up a little bit further from there and over, you'll see another microphone. And that's adjusted to wherever the speakers are on the pinball machine. I don't do direct audio capture just because I haven't. It's a pain. Then, how do you prevent, echoing and stuff? I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but this has provided good enough sound quality, I think, for very little hassle. And then the two mics are both RØDE microphones, which kind of come together into their own kind of mixer. So you can mix them together. I can turn up the volume of the player mic or the pinball mic, individually through software. So then we go up to the top, we come across, we got a little Sony, I think it's a CX430 maybe? It'll be in the links below, but this is the main camcorder that captures all the Playfield. Come over, that's the controls for these lights over here. And then we come down and we have the light that we saw earlier, as well as a player webcam. It's just a cheapy webcam, nothing all that elaborate. Does do 1080. And would it be better with a camcorder or one of the newer cameras that does video? Absolutely. But does this do well for the 70 bucks or so that I paid for it? Yep, it surely does. So then the next question is, how do we get the direct video capture in on like a Jersey Jack? Well, it eventually comes in through this cable here, but I'm going to take you under the machine and just show you a little bit. Right here, you will see a video capture card, and then you'll see two HDMI connections coming into it, and then the USB out, which then goes to the computer. So now that I'm going to back up so I can actually talk about that. So what I do on Jersey Jacks, Barrels of Fun, any machines that have DVI or HDMI out, we take an HDMI cable from the main computer, run it out the bottom of the pinball machine, and then we take an HDMI cable from the monitor and run it out through the bottom of the pinball machine. And then when I want to stream, I plug the HDMI out of the computer into the input of the capture card. Then we take the HDMI out of we plug the other cable into the HDMI out of the video capture card, and that goes back to the monitor. So basically it flows right through to the monitor, and then it sends all that video over USB. When I'm not doing streaming, I just replace the HDMI card in between with one of these little HDMI couplers so that the HDMI signal flows through and it plays just like a normal pinball machine. Why do I say for Jersey Jacks and Barrels of Fun? Because over here on our Sterns, we do something a little bit different. Sterns do not have HDMI out, at least not until Spike 3. Spike 3 solves this problem, but Sterns on Spike 2 do not have HDMI out. They have LVDS, which is this connector right here. And what we have here is a pinball board from HOVPinball. It'll be linked below. And basically this whole card up here, what you see right up in here, plugs into the LVDS port right here. So that's plugging into the motherboard right there. And then it has an LVDS out port where you plug in the connector that was in the main board into this. So that provides your pass-through so that your display down here continues to still work. And then it has DVI out on the side, which we then translate to HDMI. And then we take this HDMI cable and we pop it out the bottom of the machine. And then we do something very similar where we take a cable, connect it to the cable that's coming out the bottom of the machine, which you can probably see dangling right back there. And then we feed that into a capture card similar to this one right here. It's this little capture card, and then this HDMI extension cable that goes down to a coupler. So I plug that into the cord that's hanging out of the stern, plug this end into the PC, and then we got the direct video capture. And like I said, for Harry Potter, Jersey Jacks, and Barrel of Fun, we either pop it out the bottom, but I'll take you over here to a dune, which is not in its permanent location. And you can see the same thing in the back, where I put the cables out the top on this one. So the one with the green tape on it is the input. So that will go in the input of my capture card. This will go into the output of the capture card, and then the USB cable would go to the PC. When I'm not streaming it, I just put a connector in between. So the output of the PC just goes right back to the monitor inside the machine. So let's come on back to here. And I think that pretty much covers everything. As we mentioned, we have 2 microphones, one for a player, one for the machine. We have 2 different kind of lighting sources, which is very important. We have a webcam for the player, and then we have the camcorder for the Playfield. And the Playfield is 1080p with 60 frames per second, which you definitely want. 30 frames per second is going to look very, very, very choppy overall. So I think that's a quick run through of everything about the streaming rig. I'm going to post this just like this. I'm not a professional video creator by any means. I mean, actually, I'm very amateur at this. I love technology. Technology is my field, but yeah, video creation and editing and all that stuff isn't great, but people wanted to know what I use, and I think this is the best way to do it. Show some videos of it, post some information, and then you guys can ask for more. On the next episode of this, I'm going to focus more on getting this all connected up to the PC, and then show you how I use OBS and a variety of different tools to, put together that broadcast and provide some of the little, channel rewards, some of the automated responses to text using basically a bot, how to get things to pop up such that when someone subscribes, a little thing dances on the screen, all those things I can show in the next episode, which will focus more on the software side of things. So I think that was quick and dirty. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll be happy to respond to those. Like I said, it's nothing pretty, but from an economic standpoint, the whole thing, we're looking at $300 for the actual frame, probably about $300 for the camcorder that was on the top. I mean, the 2 microphones somewhere in the hundreds range, the lighting, some hundreds. So, we're looking at probably $1,000-ish, which might sound like a lot of money, but there are some people that probably have thrown $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth into their rigs. And yeah, I'll gladly do that as I stream more and gradually upgrade. But for now, this seems to be working. I'm not in this to make money. I don't really make money off my channel. This is more for me to socialize with the community and help other people out. So if you have any questions, put them down there in the comments and I will get back to you. Let me know if this is helpful, and then I can improve from here and help you guys understand how to do all this stuff.